the memory palace technique, for those who are new to it, who don't know it, is we're just going to take simple locations like rooms, and then to reduce stress, we're going to remember certain things. And we can be very simple or we can be very advanced with this, but those things are scientifically proven to help reduce stress and anxiety. And if you would like to check this out, look up Tim Dalglish's study on the method of Loki for doing this. And method of Loki is another word for memory palace. In some senses, it's used a little bit differently, but overall, it's the same term. And it is essentially taking, or loci is how it's sometimes pronounced by people. I think correctly it's pronounced loci, but sometimes it just comes out spontaneously, low-key. But in any case, what we want to do is take locations and weave them together with information that helps us recall what it is that we wanted to do. And one of the things that's so interesting about Tim Dalglish's research into the method of loci for reducing stress, for dealing with PTSD symptoms and all this sort of stuff, is that it makes you feel better. And you don't have to have problems in order to feel better. You could feel better just by doing it to feel better. And so the basics, and something that he shows and demonstrates, and we see in his research play out again and again and again, is that if you just take 4 positive memories and you put them in a memory palace, and then you revisit them, you will feel better. Now the question is, why will you feel better? Well, a lot of the brain has chemicals that we don't fully, thoroughly understand, but there may be some neurogenesis involved, which means that we're creating new cells in the neural networks, which will feel good. Then there's dopamine and myelin and maybe some norepinephrine and all these opioid receptors opening up and firing. Anyway, I talk more about the science in a new book called The Victorious Mind. And thanks to everybody who has been getting the pre-order of the Kindle. Really appreciate that. And for those of you who have been doing that, make sure that you send in your receipt so I can send you the free How to Stop Thinking course, which a lot of people have told me they are enjoying. And yeah, there's a lot of activities coming up around that. So if you're interested in a fuller explanation of the science along with more training, then please grab that. Now, in order to start thinking about this, just as a simple exercise, participate in the chat if you want. Take a room, and if you can draw right now, draw a square based on a room. And I mean, really, just make it simple. Make it as simple as possible. Don't overthink it. If you can't draw right now, you can just simply mentally draw. Imagine you have a piece of paper in your hand and you're drawing the square that represents a room. It can be the room you're in now. It could be a car, whatever it is, you know, and you can be more advanced, of course, like this with different shapes inside the room and so forth, but just be simple about it for the purposes of this exercise and draw a square. And then in your first corner of this square, think about a positive, happy memory. It could be, you know, the first thing that comes to my mind is one of my first birthday parties that I remember. It was actually someone else's birthday party, the one that's coming to mind. And they had a quarter cake or money cake, whatever you call it. And you would eat it, and these quarters would be inside wrapped in wax. I think this is probably against the law now, but back then we used to do it. The parents used to do that for the kids, and we had a great time. And that was just a positive memory. So I would put that in this corner. I'll show you a bit later. I think I have on my slides an actual room, how this works out. Anyway, once you have one positive memory, just go ahead and put in another one. So, you know, feel free to participate now or after, if you're watching the replay, in the discussion below and share a positive memory. But the idea is you get a bunch of them together. And then you just shift over to the next corner and put another positive memory. So, I mean, I've done this exercise many, many times, and it feels good. And one of the ones that I like is the day I graduated and got my PhD. And it's not even so much the graduation itself. I remember one of the people, Steve Bailey, who was one of the professors on the examination committee, he was telling me, don't tell people that you're a doctor. Don't use your doctor title. you've got to not do that, because people will then call you for CPR and all that sort of stuff. You need to make sure you just call yourself, professor instead of doctor, which was good advice. So that's something to keep in mind. But anyway, it was a happy memory. And after I got that award, they took me down. We went to a bar, and I did magic tricks for them, and that was a very happy memory. I'm just going to make a quick note here. So this is something very good to do. You have a happy memory. So I imagine myself having a magic trick in this pub with all the professors, and that was very, very fun, happy memory. And I put that in this corner of the room. And then you just carry on and you make another happy memory, just like that. So if you have happy memories all ready to go, just start to think of them. But think of them spatially. And then again, you would reproduce it. So now you have a perfect square, right? And it's very, very powerful to do this.